In this recording, we're going to look at two more examples of factoring quadratics, particularly ones where the a value, the leading coefficient here, is not a 1, although this technique could be used for any factoring of a quadratic. The way I'd like you to approach these two examples is I'd like you to pause the recording, get as far as you can on your own. When you get stuck or you have a final answer, then play the recording and get some feedback, or get a little prompt and then pause the recording and get further with it, play the recording, etc. Okay, so please pause the recording now. Alright, so hopefully you've gotten as far as you can, and we're just going to review this problem together. You're going to do 2 times 9, that's 18. And you're going to figure out the two numbers that multiplied to be 18 that add up to negative 9, which happen to be negative 6 and negative 3. So we're going to split up the negative 9b into negative 6b and negative 3b, which both add up to negative 9b, so it's equivalent, right? We're going to take those four components, put those in our window. Okay, the squared term in the top left, constant term in the bottom right, that's just a number by itself, and it really doesn't matter where you put the other two, it's going to work out fine. If you haven't done so yet, I'd like you to pause the recording and put in the greatest common factors on the borders, the edges of the window, okay, the window frame. Then play the recording when you've got something. Okay, so there are our GCFs. The GCF here is a B. GCF here, well, I don't know if it's a 3 or a negative 3 initially. Coming across, it's a 2B. Coming across the bottom, it's a 3. And then because there's one negative in here, but the product, the overall, is a positive, the only way to do that is to have a negative 3 times negative 3. Put those together, b minus 3, 2b minus 3 on the edges, you've got your factorization. Let's look at one more similar example where we're going to pause it and get as far as you can, and then play the recording only when you've gotten as far as you can or you have a final answer. So pause the recording now. Okay, so hopefully you've gotten as far as you can. You know that 5 times negative 4 is negative 20, and we want two numbers that multiply to be negative 20 and add up to 19. That would be negative 1 and 20. Cool, so we're going to split up the 19x into negative 1x and 20x. We have four components, therefore I can put those into my window, 5x squared, 20x, negative 1x, negative 4. Right? From there, I had to think of my GCF. So if you haven't thought of your GCF, pause the recording and think of your GCFs that you can put on the borders of this window. Then play the recording. Alright, so hopefully you recognize that we've got going up, we've got a GCF here of 5. Going up here, GCF of 1. I don't know if it's a positive or negative 1 yet, but I'm just going to leave it. Going across, x. Going across the bottom, 4. Well, I need 1 times a positive x to make a negative x. So that looks like a negative 1, and then it'll work out nicely. Negative 1 times 4 will be negative 4. It all works. Finally, we just get our factorization. 5x minus 1 times x plus 4. We can check that by multiplication. Thanks for watching.